Respect the no trespassing signs. These are dangerous situations, and it's not a place for anyone.
A 19-year-old girl goes to the hospital, and 3 of her college classmates are headed to court after a failed photo op in an abandoned brewery. Good evening, everyone. 3 young women and a young man face criminal trespassing charges after they broke into the former home of Hudepohl Brewing last night.
All 4 are students at Northern Kentucky University, and one of them was taking pictures inside this abandoned Queensgate building for a class project. One of the young women, Catherine Tuttle, fell into an elevator shaft and had to be rescued by Cincinnati firefighters. Local 12's Joe Webb joins us live from the brewery property with new information. Joe?
Well, Rob, we talked to one of the young women this morning who says she was invited to go on this adventure here at the Hudepohl Brewery yesterday morning at school. She says 4 of them scooted underneath this fence and weren't inside the brewery long before the girl fell and got hurt. It's been abandoned for about 30 years. It's partially torn down and it's huge. The Hudepohl Brewery is a favorite target of people who call themselves urban explorers, and they've thoroughly documented its decaying interior. Representatives of the current owner, the Port Authority, were back on site today trying to secure the rotting hulk's porous exterior.
We found the fence, it's been cut in the back, and we're working immediately to shore that up today, and then we have additional security measures that are going to be happening within the next few weeks.
But not soon enough for 4 enterprising NKU students. One, we were told, was taking pictures for a class project. One of the young women tells us the injured woman had been inside before, but just minutes after illegally entering the place, she stepped into and fell down an elevator shaft.
But it's kind of an underground thing. It doesn't get too much press, too much play.
Photographer Ronnie Salerno is talking about urban exploring. He's made 100 forays into abandoned buildings, including the Hudepohl Brewery. He says it is not for the faint-hearted or inexperienced.
There's just kind of a knowledge you gain after doing it for a while, and with them doing it for a class or whatever, for whatever reason they were doing it, it just seemed like they weren't being that careful.
The injured woman will survive, but sources say she suffered at least 1 broken bone. She and her friends will be in court in a couple of weeks. The Port Authority is taking this seriously.
Safety on any of our properties obviously is our biggest concern. I understand that this is an exciting old building, but at this point it's past its use for, the tours are not open.
Now, the Port Authority says it plans on extending the razor wire around the entire perimeter. Now, the Port Authority has owned this property since last year. They say they're not sure exactly what they're going to do with it, but it is likely it's going to be demolished in the next few years. Rob?
It just sounds like a problem waiting to happen, doesn't it, Joe? I mean, it's been there for, I don't know, maybe 80, 90 years?
Oh, it's been here for well over 100 years, but it's been abandoned since the 80s, or it's been shut down since the 80s. I don't know that they hold out much hope that somebody's going to redo it.
Yeah. Joe, thanks very much. The young woman who spoke to us says she has been summoned to court on September 13th. All 4 students are charged with criminal trespassing.